Nguede's not in there. Banham is in instead. Here's Carter with the crossover for the tie.
Get myself together. I know that I'm a vital piece of this team, and I know that I need to be in shape. I need to be ready to go. I need to be mentally ready, physically ready. So all of those things were coming into play while I was sick, while I was out. There were still things that I was doing, basketball-oriented, so that when I come back, you guys are like, oh, it's kind of like she didn't miss a beat. Yeah, because you still have to work when you're asleep and you're sick and things like that. So, yeah.
Unfortunately for Angel Reese, she's dead ass last. And I'm not kidding you in this list of players. And she looks really, really bad. The lack of videos involving Angel Reese working on layups.
Let's forget the stats and ignore the filters for a second. The real WNBA drama isn't happening courtside. It's unfolding in backroom meetings, locker room whispers, and cryptic social media posts that say more than entire press conferences. If you think the tension between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese was dramatic, you haven't seen anything yet. The situation boiling over in Chicago right now could change the landscape of the league. And at the center of it all, Angel Reese and Chennedy Carter, two stars who might be facing the unspoken death sentence in professional sports, getting unofficially blacklisted. It all started with a question. Why would a team walk away from one of its top scorers without even making a qualifying offer? That's exactly what happened to Chennedy Carter, who had just averaged an impressive 17.5 points per game with the Chicago Sky. Normally, that kind of performance earns you more minutes, more money, and more media love. But instead, Carter found herself out in the cold, left hanging without an offer from a franchise she just helped carry. Fans were stunned, teammates went silent, and then the chaos began. Carter's history in the league has always come with a little turbulence. From a suspension in Atlanta for what was called conduct detrimental to the team, to a lackluster stint with the Sparks, Carter's path has been anything but smooth. But 2024 was supposed to be her comeback. Chicago gave her a shot. She delivered. And still, she was gone before fans could even order a custom jersey. People took to social media, wondering aloud if something bigger was happening behind closed doors. Why would Chicago cut ties so abruptly with someone who had clearly found her rhythm? Well, maybe because the locker room was already at its boiling point. And Carter wasn't the only player caught in the flames. Within hours of Carter's release, Angel Reese posted a cryptic message online. "It's understood." Just 2 words, but those words detonated across Twitter like a bomb. Instantly, fans speculated it was aimed directly at Carter, and given the timing, they weren't exactly reaching. If the post was meant to stir the pot, it did its job flawlessly. Carter didn't stay quiet for long. In what looked like a calculated response, she fired back on social media with a post that said, "I believe that being able to make layups on a regular basis elevates everyone to a higher level." That wasn't just shade, that was a sniper shot. The dig was almost impossible to misinterpret. Angel Reese's struggles finishing near the rim are public knowledge. Her 42.4% shooting from close range is one of the lowest in the entire league for someone her size. Carter didn't just call her out, she brought the receipts. And just when things looked like they couldn't get messier, Carter added another layer with a post saying, "Not everyone deserves your loyalty." Now the floodgates were fully open. Fans turned into investigators, breaking down every emoji, every comment, every like. The theory? Carter wasn't just coming for Reese, she was calling out the entire Sky organization. But this rivalry wasn't built overnight. The tension between Reese and Carter had been simmering for months, maybe even longer. The only difference now is that it's boiling over, and the world is watching. This isn't a feud, it's a full-blown fracture. And unfortunately, the ones paying attention aren't just fans. It's coaches, general managers, and league executives. Behind the scenes, reports of dysfunction within the Sky began to surface. Sources say the locker room was a war zone, with players and coaches allegedly divided into camps. Carter may have been a top scorer, but insiders claim she was viewed as polarizing, with her intensity on the court spilling into off-court tension. Meanwhile, others accused head coach Teresa Weatherspoon and Angel Reese of forming a power duo, creating game plans that allegedly catered to Reese's stat sheet rather than team wins. That's when things escalated from drama to potential damage control. It wasn't just Carter raising red flags. Former Sky player Marina Mabrey, now with the Connecticut Sun, subtly shaded her former squad in an interview by praising her new team's discipline and structure. Without naming names, it was clear she was happy to be far from the circus in Chicago. Her remarks only fueled the narrative that the sky isn't just disorganized, it's toxic. So now the whispers have started. Is this why Chennedy Carter hasn't been picked up? Has Angel Reese, despite her massive media following and viral popularity, become too much of a distraction? It's not hard to imagine why front offices across the league might be thinking twice. Nobody wants a PR nightmare. And as we've seen time and time again in professional sports, once your name starts carrying baggage, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If the brand is damaged, you might find yourself on the sidelines indefinitely. This is where the concept of the blacklist comes in, not the literal, officially documented blacklist. That would be too obvious. This is the silent kind, the kind that happens through whispers, emails, and off-the-record phone calls, where teams say things like, "We're going in a different direction," or "She's not a culture fit," when what they really mean is, "We don't want the headache." Both Reese and Carter are dangerously close to falling into that category. Their talent is undeniable. Carter has proven she can lead a team in scoring. Reese has become the face of a new wave of WNBA fandom. But being a star isn't just about stats anymore. It's about branding, behavior, and team chemistry. And right now, both players are seen as fire starters. The Chicago Sky might not survive this fallout without a total overhaul. Management needs to decide whether to continue backing Reese as their centerpiece or admit that the team environment has spiraled too far out of control. If they stick with her, they'll need to rebuild a culture that feels fair and stable to the rest of the roster. Otherwise, they risk turning away rising stars who don't want to be part of a drama-filled franchise. As for Reese, the next steps in her career will be critical. If she wants to be remembered as more than a viral sensation, she'll need to step into a leadership role, not just on the stat sheet, but in the locker room. That means less cryptic subtweets, more accountability, less drama, more discipline. If she can't manage that shift, she may find herself getting fewer calls from general managers and more messages from fans wondering what happened to the hype. Carter, on the other hand, has an opportunity to reset. Her time overseas in China showed she can still ball at a high level. If she can lock in with a team that values her strengths and gives her the space to lead without friction, she might just write one of the greatest comeback stories the WNBA has seen in years. But if she continues to draw controversy, the door may quietly shut behind her before she even realizes it. The truth is, this isn't just about two players anymore. This is about how the WNBA handles internal conflict, brand image, and the rise of social media influence. It's a league still growing, still learning how to balance flash with fundamentals. But moments like these are defining. They shape how fans view teams, how players pick destinations, and how owners protect the bottom line. In the end, whether Angel Reese and Chennedy Carter are truly blacklisted or just temporarily sidelined depends on what happens next. Will they adapt and evolve, or double down on the chaos? Either way, the league is watching, the fans are watching, and you can bet every front office is taking notes. Because in professional sports, talent might open the door, but reputation decides how long you get to stay.